We are live. Hey, everybody, it's Will Middleton and Kurt Von Ahnen from LifterLMS. We'll be here for the next 2 hours answering pre-sales, getting started questions. Anywhere you see us, check out that comment box. Leave us any questions or comments, and we'll share our screens, do demos, LifterLMS groups, LifterLMS add-ons, maybe a sample of the new LifterLMS theme. Anything you want to see, leave us a comment and a question in the chat, and we will answer live. Awesome. And now it's on to me to go shoot out an email. We're live on YouTube.
I switched it up. Feeding the ducks was killing me.
Is that the name of the music?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That, I guess I was like, a lot of these are acoustic, cinematic, dance, pop, daydream. I was like, why is Feeding the Ducks one of them? It's like because Duck is a StreamYard logo.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
The song's like, pump up the jam, pump it up, pump it up. Pump it up.
Yeah, it does. Say that.
I'm waiting for someone to kick in and go, Tour de France, Tour de France.
I'm just like talking out loud as I build this campaign.
I was just co-host on a pretty interesting podcast.
The WP Sonic Show?
Yeah. We interviewed one of the founders of WPCS, WPCS.io. It's kind of a new way of hosting multiple sites. It's fancy. We got two people cool in here. Two people. Folks, where you from? And how are we going to break the ice today? Where are you from and what's your favorite soft drink?
That works. Where am I from? I don't know where I'm from. We'll say Atlanta.
Oh, that's rough for you. Pretty soon you're going to be like, I'm from Greece.
Yeah, calling in from Greece, yeah. What's my favorite soft drink? I don't know. I just drink grape juice and water.
Okay. I'll just throw it out there. You are in ATL, right?
Right. Oh, the Coca-Cola, yep.
Well, no. But do you drink grape juice or grape drink?
It's whatever the concentrated grape juice from Costco is. I could actually have some right here. Oh, yeah, right here. It's right here. Oh, it's
grape juice.
Concord grapes.
Grape juice. If you watch Dave Chappelle would be like, "That's a white people thing because the people of color drink grape drink."
Oh, I know. I like grape Kool-Aid. I like that a lot. My mom got me off of that as a kid. That was my favorite drink, though. Is those you mix it with water and make whatever you want kind of drinks.
Yeah,
love those.
Yeah, all you need is a pound and a half of sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how you knew the people that had money in my neighborhood because their Kool-Aid was sweet.
Yeah,
so I guess I would say I'm from Philadelphia if I had to say I was from somewhere. I mean, I'm from Philadelphia, but I'm out in Southern California now. And I don't know, dude. I used to be a Sprite and 7-Up kind of guy, but now I save my 7-Up for my bourbon. And if I'm drinking just a soft drink, it'd be a Dr. Pepper. Love me some Dr. Pepper. I do have kind of an interesting topic that's more customer oriented.
Yeah.
We could kind of talk about that a little bit, and that is people that are building inside LifterLMS, for example. Let's stick on topic and let's say LifterLMS. Hey, Miss C, how are you? Carolyn Thompson. People building in LifterLMS using the using the add-ons. So let's say, it's the Infinity package with access to groups and social learning and all of those things. I've run into a couple of customers that are business owners and not developers, right? They're not really WordPress folks, they're business people, right? And so they keep using the term instructors. So how many instructors can I have? I don't want my instructors to see the back end, but I want my instructors to have access to reporting on the students. I want them to manage students, but I don't want them in the back end. And I kept hearing, I don't want them in the back end. And that's just what kept resonating with me. And then I finally had to say, hold on, we need to define our terms, right? If we look at user roles and capabilities, the resource that LifterLMS provides, it specifically tells you what an instructor is and what the instructor can do within the website. So that's typically limited access to the admin panel in the back, right? So they can, get to reporting and report on their students, and they can edit and modify quizzes and courses, and they can impersonate students that are part of their course, things like that. But what I've been finding is, and especially again, not from a developer's perspective, but from a business owner's perspective and the way they describe their users, what they were really describing was a group leader in the groups function that we have. And so it's because they were talking about, well, I need a sign on for instructors and I need a sign on for students and I need a sign on for this and a sign on for that. And I'm like, well, a user in the website is a user in the website. I don't know, why are we having a conversation about 17 different sign-ons? And what do you think an instructor actually is or does in your organization? Forget about the website for now. Forget about the website. Don't confuse yourself with code and weird stuff. In your organization, in your hierarchy of business, what is an instructor by your definition? And then as I got the definition from them, I discovered that it was really a group leader in groups.
Yeah, that's a really good point about, it's really capabilities based. It's really the definition is what is the interaction with this user and the product look like? And that helps us figure out what exactly the role is. And it's tough to figure that out without just talking to someone or reading the documentation, I think. I don't know, can you think of any other way that you would figure that sort of thing out? I guess maybe demoing the product is another way people figure it out. The dollar demo, they'll get in there and try it out, but it's kind of a difficult thing to figure out. There's not a form where you can say, I want X, Y, Z, and it'll tell you what you need.
Well, and there's different use cases, right? And so I think client and use cases are two of my power phrases I use as a business consultant when I talk to people, right? Because it's I want to identify client means someone that's paying me, right? So you are a client, boom. So that puts you at a certain level. Hey, John Bailey's on the call. Welcome to the call, John. So then the other thing is use case. And so I have another project outside of the one I just described where they have an organization that's really unique, I think. And that is they have an organization that's international and they have global trainers that hold certification courses all over the world. And then when they certify somebody through their program, those people become what I termed as facilitators, because they were calling them teachers and trainers, and they were calling them all kinds of things. But it was getting confusing because there's the global trainer that trains the trainers, right? And so we had to figure out a new term for that new trainer. And so I said, we got to call them something different. They're facilitators. So you have global trainers and you have facilitators. And then then we were able to break it up and go, okay, so now the global trainers, in the terms of user roles and capabilities, they become instructors, right? And the facilitators are students, realistically, because the students come away with the certification and all this stuff. Now, what was really unique about that one was we had to have forward-facing profiles without leveraging social learning. So we had to use a third-party plugin for forward-facing profiles. And then each of those profiles had to contain the ability for them to create events. And those events would show up both on their profile and on the main site in a list of, general events. And so we used the event calendar for that, and it all worked out really, really well. Hey guys, is there a built-in duplication or cloning a course, lessons, certificates, all that? We both clicked it at the same time. Well, I think you beat me.
Yeah.
The quick and dirty answer to this is yes. Okay. Outside of yes, we could demo this. This would be a good thing to demo. What do you think, Will?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't have a great demo site pulled up, but you have one?
I have a demo site up. So let me go ahead and I'm just going to pull up the whole window because it's easier to do the window than to not do the window. And so you should be seeing my demo site.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. And so if we go into the back end of the demo site, cloning the courses is like, I don't know if LifterLMS could have made it easier. You go to your courses menu, and right here, when you get your floating menu that opens up, you can see right here. Well, I've been making a lot of sample courses. I should probably clean this up a little bit, Will. If you go down to like saving strategy, if I want to clone that, I literally just click it, and it clones that course for me. And so everything that is involved in that course is cloned and done. And so you'll see the draft is right here. And so then the next thing to do would be to go ahead and edit it and then update that name, so it's something different. And so in this case, I'll just call it, Saving Strategy 2. But you'll notice that in that cloning process, it cloned all of it. It cloned the access plans, it cloned the sections, the lessons, and all of that. And if I were to go into let me, hold on, I got to publish that. Oop. I'm getting ahead of myself. All right. And then if I were to go to like a specific lesson, you'd see that lesson content is still in place too. Right. And so cloning is a super simple, easy way to kind of knock that out. In quizzes, because you had listed lessons and or quizzes, we do have a way. So it clones everything, right? So it clones everything over as a course. But let's say for more of a specific use case, you were making a separate course and you knew that there were kind of quiz questions that you had that were kind of like a layover, right? That there was kind of a layer there where they were kind of the same, a little bit of duplication. You can use a pre-existing question in a quiz as well. So we've got a couple of different ways to really help you out there. And I don't know what to call you because it says Facebook user.
No problem. Yeah, this functionality Kurt's talking about there, this site's a little bit slow because I've been using it for a while. Sometimes after using a site for a while, it starts to get slow, so I'll have to make a new one. Not like a WordPress site in general, but this little sample library that we have where we generate our own sites. So if I were to enter the course builder for any one of these courses, and I just wanted to clone the quiz like Kurt's speaking to there, we have this one, what's this called? The Lesson with Quiz. That's a good name. So if I wanted to copy this, have it also maybe in this lesson too, I have an option. I can create a new quiz or I can add an existing quiz. And this is going to clone any of my quizzes, but let me look up Lesson with Quiz. Here we go. So I have the option here to clone.
Lesson with Quiz.
And we might add another quiz here at the end, but or the quiz. And so the cloned quiz here now is automatically going to take all of the questions and copy them here, and I can reorder them, change the settings. Now that I've created the clone, it's an independent copy, and I can edit it however I want to, but it just creates that clone copy, and then you can edit from there. Great question from John. Can you hear music in the background? I can hear music in the background. It's not Dancing with the Ducks. That's Dance Pop. That's the name of the music we have here in the StreamYard library where we just turn on the background music.
Now, the crazy twofold thing about John asking that question is, what kind of music does John listen to at home that he was thinking that might have been coming from his house? John, are you into copyright-free instrumental dance music?
This song is called Dystopian Elevator.
Oh, yeah. I feel like I'm going up. Rising to a new level. I've been on Zoom a lot already today. I might be really loopy by the time we jump on the mastermind call.
That's all right. So for anyone who's interested in seeing that, buy the Infinity Bundle. You'll get the invite email. It hasn't gone out yet. It will go out to join the LifterLMS mastermind call. That's a call me and Kurt and Chris, I think, should be there today. That starts an hour, 40 minutes from now. That call will start. And that's a mastermind call where we talk about all kinds of things, tech strategy, just hanging out. It's in Zoom. Really good time talking through all kinds of tech and strategy related items. We have a Facebook group for it too, sort of a LifterLMS mastermind insider sort of thing. And speaking of that, let me check the Facebook page. I have been so wrapped up in a lot of other tasks, I haven't been jumping into the Facebook as much. So let me jump over to the group and see if we have any questions. Let's see. So we had a question here.
We got this one guy that keeps jumping in our Facebook page telling us that we can build a high quality email list. I'm wondering if this guy is a LifterLMS customer or if he's someone that we need to, I don't know, do something else with.
Boot out. Yeah, let me see what that is. Is that Chris? No, I see these little messages from Chris. Where's this high quality email list? I don't see that.
Mr. Charles Holiday. Chris asked a question on the LifterLMS page, and that was, that's opening up Pandora's box right there. It's what would you like to see on LifterLMS moving forward?
Oh, okay, I see.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. I'll just boot him out. All right, just remove that post. Let's see. So we had a question. I've recently been having my name, the author's name, and date show above the featured image for lesson content. Is there a way of turning this off in the Astra theme? Let's see. Yeah, so let's take a look at Will trying to do custom code again live on stream. The issue here is with the Astra theme. If I share my website again, let's back out to my WordPress admin. Hello. Yeah, I have to make a new site up. Once I've messed around and broken a few things, it's time for me to
Hello, welcome back, everybody.
The WP Tonic intro. I'm going to activate my Astra theme and see if I can recreate this issue. That's always the first step to solving issues, is recreating them. So let me view the course and see if I can see the issue. If we view a lesson, we see a name. Yeah, here we go. So this is the user wants to remove this right here. I think that's a part of the template for blog posts. Let me see if there's a way to do this without code. And there's a very easy way to do it with code, but let's see if we can do it without code first. Man, that customizer. Takes some time if you're on this. I already feel like the customizer is an old interface with the new full site editing capabilities. I'm like, what is this, a customizer? But let me see. So I don't want to modify header builder. I want to modify LifterLMS. Okay, yeah, so there's nothing here, but it would be a blog post thing probably. Single post. Oh, so I need to get Astra Pro in order to fix this. Yep. All right, so we'll just use CSS. So if you want to remove this...
Do you need Astra Pro?
Oh, I have a copy of Astra Pro, but I don't know if this user does, so I'm just going to do the CSS method.
Okay.
To remove it. Cool. Display none. Pretty simple entry meta. Give entry meta. Let's try this and see if it works. We wanted to remove the breadcrumb. There's probably a setting in the Astra Pro to remove these breadcrumbs, but that's all right. We'll try some CSS. My editor is loading the real stuff. There we go.
There it goes.
Cool. So I'd recommend trying out this code, seeing if that works. There's a little bit of custom CSS in Google Chrome where you identify via the inspector the little area you want to hide and then use display none to hide it. Cool. All right, so that's our questions from that Facebook group. That's pretty good. Let me jump over to the main Facebook group and see if we had any other questions.
Adam Silver says it's race time. Race time and rave time. Run, Adam, run.
Let's see, so in the process of installing Lifter, following along with videos in the Academy, I cannot see any available widgets in the sidebar. Oh yeah. Speaking of themes and the ways of um, the ancient themes, let's take a look at this window, Chrome tab, Facebook. This is an interesting question here. This is the editor here for widgets, where you add your course sidebars, where you add your lesson sidebars, your headers and footer widgets and stuff like that. Under appearance widgets, they used to be a lot more of a popular item to use years ago, and now they are converted into blocks. So if I leave out of my customizer and head back to my Academy widgets, I have my progress and syllabus in my sidebar on my lessons. Here's a little actual tutorial showing how to use the block editor in the widgets. It's just like a page or a post in WordPress now. It's just a little more condensed, and you can see everything's kind of on top of each other. And then the little chat box, for some reason on our demo, is being pulled right there. But if I wanted to put maybe an image in my course sidebar, I'm going to zoom out a little bit so it doesn't look as green. I have my, what do I have going on here? Legacy widget. I have my course sidebar, includes 2 legacy widgets. What would be the better widgets for me to use? Course syllabus? No, it's an older sort of widget from WordPress, or from Lifter. So we have our progress bar and our syllabus. That's what's populating over in the right-hand sidebar. But if I did want to put an image in here, I would just put in an image, media library, see what we have in here. LifterLMS logo. Maybe we'll put that on top. Change the sizing a little bit, 25%. Center align it probably. Did that work? Line center. Let's update that and just see what we have. So this will be my course sidebar. So if I view my saving strategy course, there it is. So there's my logo over there. I wanted to see how I could center align this line center update. There we go. So now it's center aligned. So using the block editor, you can modify this part of your site now over here on the widgets. And taking it one step further than using blocks to edit just widgets are the new full site editing themes. We could probably do a demo of that while we don't have too many questions coming in. If I head to themes, LifterLMS Sky Pilot, let's activate that one. Full site editing is a new technology coming to WordPress that is a part of the new LifterLMS theme, along with some other themes, like the WordPress 2023, I believe, also uses full site editor. But what full site editor does is, if we zoom in a little bit, under appearance, we used to have that customizer option like we were taking a look at with Astra, but here we have this editor option. So if I click on editor, it's going to open up a new interface. It looks a little bit distinct from what we've seen in WordPress before, but on the right-hand side, we can see I'm editing something. What is this, the homepage? Yeah, this looks like my homepage that's coming up. And things are starting to load in over here on the right-hand side. And if I jump to the left, I have 2 options for templates and template parts. Let's click on templates and see what's here. It looks like 404 archive product catalog blank. So I can design a few of these template pages with the template here. So if someone jumps to a 404 page, it says page cannot be found. But if I wanted that to say something else, maybe I would edit this template by clicking that little pencil icon. Maybe say, sorry, page can't be found. Maybe I would put like a funny picture of a duck or something. Really just kind of whatever you want on your homepage. Or no,
picture of a compass that says you're lost.
Yeah. Yeah, there we go. I don't know if we have a picture of a compass in here.
Well, you don't have to do it to please me.
Yeah, we could put something together. I'll Photoshop something. We'll come back with a funny little you're lost photo. You know, let's just put something here. Format like, sorry, you're lost. check out this cool photo. So if you wanted your 404 page to show that for some reason, that's now an option. With the full site editing, you can really customize all the templates on your website. So if I were to hit a 404, let's say course, what would be a 404 page on this website? Just a bunch of random characters. There's my 404 page. The page isn't found, and so it's going to display the template I created. And so it's really cool to have that control over all the templates on your website.
Be right back.
No problem. If I wanted to control maybe the catalog pages are pretty easy to control. We're familiar with those already. What else could we control the layout of? Single course and lesson is kind of an interesting one. Last week on Feature Friday, myself and Chris did a demo where we removed the header and the footer from my lessons. So here on my lesson template, I don't have a header footer because we were trying to create a distraction-free learning setup. If I jump back over to a lesson, let's take a look at what we put together. Head to Saving Strategy as my course, view the course, and then I'm going to view one of my lessons. Course welcome. That's the video is a little bit broken there. What one was I working with? I think I somehow broke this site's really broken because I use it for all kinds of nonsense and testing. But let me just remove this video real quick and see if we can get this display the way we want it to. There we go. So I don't have a header and footer on my lesson template because I removed it. I wanted to create a more simple, distraction-free learning setup. So this is literally what I can interact with on the page, a little more condensed and easy to understand. But then when I go back over to my course, I'm going to see the header up here at the top and the footer all the way down at the bottom. And that option does become available very easily inside of the full site editor. If I wanted to put my header and footer back, that's also an option. What I would do is go to my group, go right below it, and maybe what we want to put back here is the footer. And then there we go, it's loading in my footer. And then I could select a footer if I wanted to do a custom footer for my lessons. That's another possible option you have, but let me put my header back on there too. Header. There we go. The header doesn't go below the footer. I want the header up here at the top. Perfect. Save and update. Oh, and I do have to choose one. I didn't choose a header. We'll use this one. So that'll be my header for the lessons, and this will be my footer for the lessons. Cool. Let's try saving again, and then reload. Jump into one of my lessons. And there we go. The header and footer are back on there. So it's a really cool feature of Lifter and full site editing in general, where you can modify the fundamental templates and post types and archives that are available. Let's remove that. Yeah, so previously you would have to use PHP code or maybe a custom plugin in order to modify this functionality. And then companies like Elementor, Beaver Builder, Divi made it available to modify the headers and footers via something they call the theme builder. And now that concept of a theme builder is directly in WordPress via full site editing. In the next 3 years, we'll see a lot of themes adopt this method of working with the full site editor. And one thing that's really nice about that is it means if you were to switch your theme from one to another, you would retain your 404 template. Your 404 template would be the same, whether you're using the Cadence theme or the Astra theme or the Sky Pilot theme. Any theme that you're working with, you'll maintain your templates. It makes designing a little bit easier and consistent from theme to theme. So that's a little demo of the widget editor there. Let's see, I'll reply here to this comment on Facebook. If I can find a video tutorial of this too. Awesome. We'll drop a link to the full video about the widget editor. Good video to check out to see how you can edit the widgets and those areas in Lifter. Drop that in the Facebook group as well. We had another question here. Let me just share my screen as I scroll through the Facebook group. Share here. Screen. Good. Is it possible to have an order? Or to add an order? I have some people who tried to sign up for the course who get a user profile, but their order doesn't go through, and I'd like to make it easier so they could set up an order for them and then send them a payment request. If you get the user switching plugin, you can switch and place an order. I do this often with a coupon to zero out. Exactly, that's what I do. Dr. Jenny Jacobs is a member of our mastermind group, and I think she was featured actually in our Enroll Summit too. Academy.LifterLMS.
And she's a case study.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There she is in the Enroll Summit around instructional design. But oh wait, I'm not sharing that screen.
And she was recently married. Congratulations to her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For sure. I'll share this Academy. The Enroll Summit. Enroll Summit has a lot of great content around getting your first 10 enrollments. I think there's not a lot of emphasis put on enrollments. We talk a lot about the tech here at LifterLMS with creating an online course site, but getting those enrollments for entrepreneurs starting out is a really big deal. So check out that first, getting your first 10 enrollments summit. A lot of great information there. Let me jump back over to Facebook. All right. See, I don't believe there's a method for just adding an order manually, like there is in WooCommerce. There is not a method to add a order manually. But a suggestion around the user switching plugin is an awesome function. I feel like if that were to leave WordPress, which I don't think it will because it's such a popular add-on, that would be something we'd want to probably build into Lifter because that's such an important functionality to have. But yeah, there's 200,000 installs, so pretty popular one to use.
It's one of those where you're surprised it's not just part of the WordPress core. It's one of those integral tools that goes into basically all of my builds.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's mine too. I just put it on when I need it. I'm like, oh, this isn't on here yet. Just add the plugin. It's pretty simple piece of functionality. It's very useful. And I would assume it not being a part of the core WordPress platform is because users are not highly emphasized in the WordPress core. Like you have blog post authors and contributors and stuff like that, but there's not a lot of complex interactions that default WordPress users have. Once you get into WooCommerce though, and Lifter and membership sites, that function becomes super important. Let's see, I'm still sharing my screen, cool. We have an issue with LifterLMS 8.0. I wanted to see if there was an issue with that. What did I say here? Oh yeah. Always recommend reaching out to our tech team if you have any questions around upgrading or specific issues, our team would be happy to take a look. And if you can provide a staging website or a copy of your live website where our team could go in and test things out, that's what I always do whenever I submit a tech support inquiry. Always include reproduction steps to show the tech support people exactly how to find a certain issue, screenshots, a quick video demo, just to provide as much context as quickly as possible. Always recommend that. Going back and forth, figuring out exactly what the challenge is a lot of what we spend time in tech support doing. Like, do you mean this? Are you talking about that? When you say featured video, are you embedding it in your lesson, or are you actually putting in the featured video field? Just getting clear on exactly what setup we're trying to recreate, and reproduction steps make that super quick. Or a quick video screenshot sort of thing. Do you guys have examples for custom designed student dashboards created with Cadence theme and blocks in combination with LifterLMS? I posted in the group a while ago when I custom CSS dashboard. Let me see if I could find that. I think it was on my personal academy, but that was just a bunch of custom CSS. It wasn't necessarily blocks. If I remove this screen, present this other one. This one over here. The academy site that I have for my personal LifterLMS Elementor course, I designed this. It's in Cadence and LifterLMS. It's really just a lot of CSS. And that CSS I did post in the Facebook group if anyone wanted to use that or modify it. But not really too much. I think I did the lost password page too. Cool. But that's another interesting concept. When you actually get into writing the code for the LifterLMS platform, it seems pretty easy. There's the student dashboard page. That's one page. But it's really not just one page. It's the lost password page, the login page, the page, what it looks like when it is logged in. And then there's all kinds of loops going on in there. There's the courses loop, the memberships, the certificates, the achievements, the grades, the orders. There's so much going on that student dashboard page that really what we're looking at is 15 different pages combined into one interface. So once you get into the code and writing the CSS, it's I thought I changed that to make it curved, but I actually changed it somewhere else. And so the layers that go into creating these sort of LMS platforms inside of WordPress, there's a lot to it for sure. So that was kind of my first experience with my heart going out to theme developers. It's not just easy as homepage, static page, lesson page, login page. That's 4 or 5 pages I think of when I think of a theme, but there's so much more to it than that. So what was my point there? Back over to Facebook.
Back over to Facebook.
Back over to Facebook to respond here. I have one example I designed for my personal LMS Elementor Cadence site. I bunch of CSS to customize the logged out view and logged in view. It's not just blocks, but more CSS code. Here's a link to the Facebook post. Come to the news tab and find that post. Post I've seen, most recent, posted by me.
Yeah, yep. The thing with WordPress is there's so many variables when you see a question like that, because realistically they could make any custom page and put the shortcode in. If it was a matter of having something at the top or something at the bottom or something, you know what I mean? And so there's the page itself that you can style, or you could take the shortcode and put it into another page that has additional things in it.
Absolutely. Let's see. How do I
19 different ways to skin this cat.
Yeah. I'm trying to get a link to this post. I'll like that post. So let me click on this. We'll figure out how this works. Yeah. Share the post. We have a new segment of the pre-sales call where Will figures out how to use Facebook.
I used to be a really good Facebook user, and then about 3 years ago, I just gave up.
Yeah. Like, there's got to be a way for me to share this. Let me stop my screen share and share another one. See, I can't figure out from this how I copy a link to my post. I've seen people do it before. This saves my post if you're not commenting. Send via messenger. Maybe I'll just do that, see what happens. Figure it out. Yeah, we don't have a lot of questions coming in today.
No, today's a relatively slow day.
Oh, I got it. There we go.
I got another WordPress meetup I'm going to hit again today, I think.
Oh, awesome. Like a virtual one?
Yeah. So in the Inland Empire here in Southern California, they do their WordPress meetup community's actually pretty active. And so they do two different steady meetups. So one is like how to develop or how to use WordPress is like on Tuesdays. And then on Thursdays, they do like a WordPress help desk session. And there's a guy named Steve that hosts that one. And Steve will stick with it till it's done. Man, I've heard stories of him being up till 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning with people on a shared screen fixing their websites.
Wow.
Super nice guy.
What time do they host that? That might be interesting in checking out. 10 o'clock?
Starts at 7 o'clock p.m. And then, here, I'll get you a link.
Yeah, I'd love to check it out. Those are always fun, WordPress help desks.
You're on LinkedIn, right, Will?
Yeah. I went to an Atlanta one.
I'll put it in your Slack.
Cool.
I'm still not used to seeing your name as William in Slack.
Yeah, I could change it. I've had it like that now for a couple weeks. Change it back to Bill or something.
And then, I don't know. Realistically, I've talked about it here. I guess I'll put it. I've participated a few times in the meetup, and sometimes, you get to be really helpful and help someone out. Other times you just get to sit back and learn something, So,
yeah.
They had a guy on Tuesday that was talking about how to build a plugin from scratch, like the code side of it. Mm-hmm. It didn't take very long for him to lose me. I got lost pretty quick. But
Yeah,
it was interesting. He kept saying, "See how simple this is? See how simple this is?" And it really made me feel like an idiot. See, this is really simple. Just look right here.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. There's a lot to it, like the WordPress template hierarchy, as well as a new thing to me, learning how that works. Have you heard
Hierarchy
of
was a word
hierarchy?
they used. They did use hierarchy quite a few times.
Yeah. That one is just such a complex thing to understand. But once you do understand it, it kind of makes a lot of sense as to how WordPress is loading things. Like, we have all this code in the back end of the websites in these theme folders and in these plugin folders, and the hierarchy is like, what order are these files called? Like, it's all code. It's like I ask that question all the time, like, when is this thing going to be loaded? And so the hierarchy explains, the first thing we load is this, the second thing we load is that. So like, mostly it's going to be the WordPress core files and the theme files coming first, unless you've customized your WordPress install for some reason.
Yeah.
Then you have like your archive pages loading, and then single pages and stuff like that. And once you understand,
it's really amazing how quickly it all happens, because when you listen to like SEO experts and people talk about how to make your WordPress site faster, they start out by always saying how miserable the setup is for WordPress and why it's so hard to make it run fast. And then you start thinking about everything it does. Like every page you pull up, it's got to do all these things. And then you pull up another page, it does all these things. And then I think to myself, I don't know, my website works pretty quick. I'm pretty happy.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why like caching your homepage server side would make things faster. Like if you already had the thing executed as to like what the server's response is going to be before it comes in, you could just send that off without having to load a bunch of things. And so you can optimize certain aspects of your website. But then if you load a quiz and that is cached, it's going to send the preloaded file, and it's not going to have all the other data that it was supposed to load. Like, what are the questions? What's the name of this quiz? Like, it might miss a bunch of templates if you were to cache that quiz before sending it. So that's just like excessive server-side caching, and you can find issues like that with various web hosts that use extensive optimization. That they'll just cache way too many resources.
Oh, that's something I want to point out. That's we got news. There is news. Hold on. Recommended resources. Did I spell it wrong? I did. There we go. Ay. So I'll do a screen share because I can. We'll add to the diversity of our screen shares today. Where did I put it? Here we go. So, Will, I don't even know if you know this. I got a message from Chris in Slack. So just last week, we made it official, and Rocket.net is on our recommended resources page for hosting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so Cloudways, Convesio, Presidium, WP Engine, Pagely, Nexus Liquid Web, GridPane, Rocket.net, Kinsta, WP Tonic, Hostinger, and Bluehost. And not for nothing, I reached out to GridPane about a project like a month ago, and their follow-up and reaching back out was pretty remarkable. I was really impressed with their customer service. But then, of course, we know the Rocket.net guys because they were at WordCamp, and I just saw Chad again, and we actually had sushi together. So I was like pretty excited that they got added to the list. Trying to think what else is really cool that's on our. There's your Cadence. I'm a big Astra fan. Astra's up here. Buddy Boss. If folks haven't looked at Buddy Boss yet, that's a really interesting way to grow your website if you've got a big audience. Hey, That's something to talk about. We could talk about that too. I started using the course scheduler.
Yeah, the Aspen Grove Studios.
From Aspen Groves, yeah, which is now WP Zone. And I'm not a Divi user, but the package that I bought came with a bunch of Divi tools. So now I'm like, all right, do I actually need to figure out how Divi works so I can help customers out that come to me with Divi problems? So I might build a project in Divi and use some of those Divi tools that, just kind of came along with that package.
Yeah, that sounds good. One thing that just I thought of when you said that it come to me with Divi problems is like, it's interesting in our Facebook group and support areas, we constantly see people saying, I have this issue with this is broken. Like, we're constantly seeing like the fix it broken side of things, but then that's really just like 1% of people. And then we have the other 99% of people running successfully with all kinds of different tool setups. I've seen people share their websites. Like, my websites run fine for years and now I have a problem, but it's like they have 75 plugins. And it's like, I'm surprised it's run this well for this long. And I know like you worked in the automotive space, in the service aspect of the automotive space, and I'm sure you probably had vehicles come in where that maybe should have come in sooner, or have been running successfully for an extended period of time with suboptimal setups.
Yeah. How long's your check engine light been on? Well, it's been on for a while, but it ran fine.
Yeah.
well, now it needs a catalytic converter and a new cylinder head.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. And to your point, you're absolutely right. It's like there was that one question in our Facebook page that said, I've got a conflict since going to PHP 8.0. I have to go to 7.4 or something like that. And what do you suggest? And my suggestion, I didn't write it out yet, but my suggestion's like, upgrade and be current, and then do the plug-in troubleshooting to figure out which one's causing your conflict. Because you don't want to have security risks and stuff because you choose to stay outdated.
Right. Yeah, and then there's the other side of things with some web hosts just don't support updated versions of PHP, and it seems like PHP updates are rolling out a little bit faster than they used to. That's just, I didn't actually look at the dates of releases, but it just feels like that. I could actually look at the release schedule to verify, but we're constantly seeing updates to various systems that are underlying WordPress. WordPress itself is going through a lot of updates. And
that's just a sign you're getting older.
Oh, that things feel like they're coming a lot faster?
Yeah, it's a sign you're getting older, dude.
Yeah. Sure. One thing I want to do is play around with the SkyPilot theme, but I just don't know what to build. Like, I don't have any projects that I need to work on. And that's the thing with like development too, is like I'm learning all kinds of awesome stuff about how this all fundamentally works, but I don't have a project to work on. So I've got to find some sort of a project that I can apply these skills to just further my development in the block editor. Like, I know, Kurt, you rebuilt your site with the SkyPilot theme. And so maybe I should rebuild my academy with SkyPilot or something like that.
The timing was just really good. I hate to be like, make it sound like I'm such an opportunistic kind of person, right? But I'm not looking to give myself all this extra work. People are like, how do you get so much stuff done? Well, I'm not like inventing things to do. But when I was migrating from one host to another, that one site didn't migrate well. And I was like, well, I can either spend 3 days trying to figure out how to migrate the whole thing, or I can just spend an afternoon building a new site. And so I built it on SkyPilot, man. I really like it.
Yeah.
I went ahead and updated it too. I did the without being overly promotional, I'll just go to the course catalog, because when I first loaded it up, I just used the standard images that came with the pilot. Hey. Oh, well, that's no bueno. I'm gonna have to
the
redo
featured
it.
images.
Yeah, my featured images went away. I'm gonna have to see what's going on there. See if it's in there. It's there, but it didn't come up in the course catalog.
Yeah.
I'll have to take a look, see. But yeah, they were all lined up, and they were all like, you know, it started using Canva as a template, you know, for that experience and making the same size graphics, and then everything was uniformed, and it was cool.
Yeah,
Oh, I could turn that off. I
size
did the wrong button.
Image sizing and compression is something that I'm trying to learn more about. Like, what's the best size for these images? I see some people creating blog posts on our website, and when I was creating my blog post, getting my images down to like approximately 100 kilobytes, ideally more like 30, it's just so complicated. There's a lot that goes into even just getting pictures for your course at scale, or getting pictures for your website. Once you're scaling, those sorts of things become more important, with page load speed and optimizing for SEO. When first having a proof of concept, it doesn't really matter. If your web page is like 5 megabytes, it really doesn't matter. But once you're at the point of scaling and you're trying to get your post maybe to rank in SEO or load quickly, so the 20% of people who would leave become significantly impactful to your business, once you're at the point of like optimization, there's all kinds of other factors to take into consideration. There's kind of a lot to it. I'm trying to build processes at Lifter to take the people on our team who do it the best, like our designer Kim knows a lot about the optimal sizing and stuff for images, and turning that into a playbook that we can all learn from. There's just so much that goes into making web pages load that, as I learn more about development, I just didn't even think about it before. Like, when I would think of a developer and what the job of a developer is, 2 years ago, it would be, they just kind of write the code and make it work. It's like now I'm actually like learning about the steps and different libraries and SDKs and like different optimizations and tools they have to use. And maybe with what you showed, Kurt, with images disappearing from the catalog, there might be some sort of reclassification of the featured image that they were doing to fix something on the course page that might have broken the loop's ability to grab it for the course catalog. So there's just so many layers and considerations when it comes to stuff like that. And
well, I am on a new host, and you already mentioned caching. I'm wondering if it's a caching issue. Maybe I'll clear the cache. Who knows, my friend?
And there's like versioning, and there's a question of like, why don't we just release more add-ons? It's like there's building these things out of like zeros and ones, and storing data, moving data, displaying the data, making sure it works on mobile, doesn't interfere with something else. There's just a lot to it. So development can be a bit slow sometimes.
Well, and then there's the other side of the coin, dude, and that's you have to make the decision in advance that whatever you build and add, you're going to maintain.
Right.
So that's always that full answer is much more complicated, right? Because it's like, oh crud, if I got to maintain this thing now forever and ever. Hey, I got an update for you. I'm going to have to adjust the cache. I'm going to have to adjust the cache on my site, because I just cleared the cache and all of the graphics came back.
Awesome. So it's not a SkyPilot bug.
It's not a SkyPilot bug. It was a Kurt's hosting bug. So you'll notice I went to a template for all of my featured images for consistency, except for the one course that's free. So the way that visually I keep it separate, and then it's separate, when people look for it too, or when it becomes part of a membership issue. So that was the way I built that one. So it's coming along. Like I wasn't expecting to build a whole new site for it, but it's the same courses. So it's not like I rebuilt the courses from scratch, but I thought of all the stumbling blocks, all of the things that, like I interviewed a guy named David Valentine, which I have a podcast with him, and I interviewed him a couple of times, once on WP Tonic and once on Mañana No Mas. And he owns 8 companies and one of his companies gives away a free course called the Outrageous Offer, right? And so he coaches companies how to grow based on this outrageous offer thing. And so then I was like, huh. So I took the course, you know, and then I was like, oh, I think I have a pretty good offer. And then I thought, but is it an outrageous offer? And then so I changed some of the offer language in my site, and hopefully we'll get more traction. It all comes down to that, what you were profiling earlier, right? With our getting the first 10 enrollees.
Yeah.
You know, how do you build that? How do you get people going? How do you get that energy, that momentum? You know, one of the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership, according to John C. Maxwell, is momentum. See, if people don't come on here and ask us questions, I'm just going to start volunteering all kinds of quotes and things from interviews and books.
I wanted to see how many students. I launched a free course like maybe 2 years ago. You know what? Let me find the actual date. I don't want to butcher it. 2021-15. So it's been up now for what, 2 years and 3 months. It's not really one I pay any attention to, but just a LifterLMS Elementor one. I wanted to see how many students it had. So now I have to learn how to use LifterLMS reporting. There we go, 144 students. So yeah, that's
Dude, that's good. 144 people on a free course you don't care about.
Yeah.
Imagine if you promoted it.
Yeah, and I was on my YouTube channel, but I haven't posted a video in over a year because I'm just like way too busy like working with LifterLMS stuff. But occasionally I'll get back into a client job, and I'll be like, wow, this is a lot harder than I remember it being. You know, because like, you know, I understand the concepts, but there's a lot of groundwork, foot on the groundwork that takes longer than you think it would. When people go to hire a freelancer, it's like, I just need a freelancer to do X, Y, and Z. But then you actually lay out how long it would take to do X, Y, and Z and what each one takes. There's more resource investment than most people think. And, you know, I worked as a freelancer for a long time too, so I understand kind of both aspects of that. But it is sort of same thing with development. If you don't have the optics into exactly what is going on in the functions, it can kind of scare you sometimes when you see the estimates for how much something would take to get done.
I track all of the time that I spend on a project for each task, which I know if someone's an agency and they're looking at this now, they're going to go, oh, Kurt's an idiot. No, I track it for multiple reasons. One, I enjoy the transparency with the clients, but for me, it helps me to quote the next job, right? Because I know how long I spend on things. And once you get used to using a certain tech stack and you build a certain efficiency in how you address things, you get more efficient. And then you have to figure out, you know, ethically, do you sell your time based on your newfound efficiency, or do you sell your time based on when you were learning how to do it? Or is there a happy medium to where you actually make a decent margin on your time, right? And so we can have that ethical talk some other time. But I track everything. And what's become really amazing is just how quickly, once you get used to these tools, Will, you can throw something up, man. Like we talked about it. We joked around about that in San Diego. Like, hey, we should have a contest and see who can build a site the fastest. But it's like, you know, loading up WordPress, Lifter, Astra, Astra Pro, Astra Starter sites, and then a CRM tool. Like I use Groundhog for a lot of things. Man, it's like click, 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 click. And in my project management tool, like I said, I track the time for each thing. And now I offer hosting to people. So now it's like set up the hosting account, install WordPress, install Lifter, and it sounds weird because it's literally minutes, not hours or anything. So it's like click on the job, click off the job, click on the job, click off the job. It's amazing how quick it's becoming.
Yeah.
So pretty soon it's not going to be itemized like that. Pretty soon it's going to be more like, you know, account basic setup, 30 minutes, you know?
Right. Then when I first built, yeah, no problem. When I first was building websites, it would take so long. It'd take like hours to figure out what I'm doing and how I'm doing it wrong. But I do need to come up with a goal of what to do. Because once I have that goal for a project, it gets a lot easier. I wonder, just poking around SkyPilot, I'll share my screen again here. And I'm just going to poke around the back end of this website. I'm sharing my entire window. Let me generate a new website in the background too. Or you know what? I might actually have one. Let's use this one. There we go. This is a fresh WordPress install.
I'm back. I'm back.
Oh, that's awesome.
I drank way too much coffee. Sorry about that. I had to run.
No problem.
I heard you as I was leaving, though, and you were talking about how it used to take hours and days. I remember those days. I remember I started in Dreamweaver, man. I was building sites from HTML templates and trying to figure things out in Dreamweaver in the beginning. Then I kind of transitioned into WordPress. It wasn't a quick transition. I went through Drupal and Joomla first.
Yeah, I haven't worked with those other.
Are you doing a speed build?
Not really a speed build. I'm just trying to figure out how I can download SkyPilot here. Yeah, download zip. Just building a new website, trying to set up some sort of goal. Throw in a couple of courses. Featured images look nice.
Yeah, they just changed those.
Yeah. Where's that? No Lifter payment gateways are installed. Themes. We're going to upload a new one. The new one is this guy. Let's see. So what do I do now? Go to the homepage. This is just a blog. I mean, it just looks nice out of the box, which is cool.
It does. It does. I was really impressed with it.
That's like that fallback image is nice. It's like that. I could just leave that as the default image.
So I did it first. I did my because that's the image that they use for the featured image for all your courses and stuff. And so for my memberships and my courses, I just had a series of those images, and I was really tempted to just leave them. And then I was like, nah, I'll put custom ones in. So I built those and added them after I did the site build.
Sample page. Add a new page.
And then this was the theme that I actually got to try, working around in full site editing a little bit, right? Using the editor and everything.
Yeah. Absolutely. Tools. It's so weird just kind of getting back in here. Like, I know with like client jobs, there's like a start line and a finish line, and we kind of define them pretty easily. So when we're getting in and trying to do something, it's a lot simpler. Like you mentioned earlier on the Kurt call, the miscommunications that can happen can just be detrimental in client work when we're kind of talking, having a conversation about optimizing something, and then we realize we're talking about different things. And that can be like the most important thing is getting on the same level communication wise. And that's why I'm a big advocate of hopping in Zoom and sharing your screen or sharing a video, sharing images, just to get on the same page as quickly as possible. Because I don't think a lot of people consider the amount of miscommunication that can go on when communicating about tech support related issues.
Oh yeah. And then you get people talking about front of paywall, back of paywall, user view, and all this stuff, and it can get real confusing real fast. Especially when they're asking for something that is they're asking for two different ways to see the same thing, and you're like, well, that doesn't work. Like, we have to be, you get one or the other. It's not, you get the cake or you get to eat it. You don't get the cake and eat it too. Meanwhile, Mrs. C is listening to us, and she's like, I just want Kurt to sing some Luther Vandross. That'd be a cool job if I knew how to teach people how to sing. It'd be fun to teach people how to sing.
See, this is about as far as I can get with a website and not have anything to do. Guess we could design a menu, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
The experience is very smooth, though.
The navigation menu through the full site editing was a little bit awkward for me at first.
Right.
Because I made changes I made changes in the menu settings where you're at now, but those changes didn't occur in the site until I went to the site editor and changed it in the navigation editor.
Yeah, that's a pretty important thing to highlight, which is something I'm going to run into right here, is that my menu is now gone. No, it's not gone. It defaulted to the right thing. But let me check my header area. I should have row navigation. The option here to select my navigation menu. I don't know why it's not showing up for me. There it is. Just had to reload the page. Sometimes random issues can happen. And so we have our three little items, welcome, course catalog, and dashboard. So then, like Kurt's saying, if I wanted to add a new one, maybe the membership catalog to my header there, if I were to add it right here, membership catalog, add to menu, we're used to just seeing the membership catalog populate. If I were to view the front end of my website, it should just populate. So I ran into this issue too. I was like, oh, is my caching messed up or whatever? But in the new WordPress header builder, what you have to do is reselect this navigation menu. So if I come back here, and then I don't even, let me see if I can figure out how to reselect it.
I thought it was over on the right sidebar menus.
Mobile. Oh, here we go. So here's our like add button. So we can add a page link, and I could add one to the membership catalog. Let me reload my page too, because I think I published my change after this. So if I add a page link, nope, it's not. What I could do is just remove this thing. I could keep trying to figure it out, or I could just add a new one. Can I? See, I'm even fiddling with this guy. I wonder if menus are just kind of going away. In general, and so this is a menu is really just a list.
Yeah.
So it would make sense. Membership catalog. We'll just do that. Membership catalog to save. There we go. Oh well.
Because I am.
Okay. I want it to be up here. Because it doesn't really care what you have here. It only really cares what's over here. So this is just like a jumping off point. So I would assume that this is probably going to go away. I haven't been following WordPress news or seeing if they've announced that, but based on this user interface, this is like obsolete. So that might be what's going on.
I think you still use the menu edit screen to make different menus. So you have a primary menu and a footer menu and a sidebar menu, or you can make as many menus as you want, and then you can select them based on the navigation blocks that you put in other areas of the site.
Yeah, but then once you select them in those navigation blocks, it ignores everything else.
Yeah, it's like you have to edit them within those navigation blocks after that.
Super interesting. I wonder patterns. I have not worked with these patterns before. Have you done any work with these, Kurt?
So I have this horrible habit now of comparing everything to something that already exists. So these patterns to me are exactly like the template sections in Elementor, right? So like, you know how when you go into Elementor to make a new you make a new page, and then you click on the little folder, and the folder opens up in Elementor, and it's like pages, or does it say blocks? No, what does it say? Pages or sections? Maybe it's sections. But so like the pricing table, or a a section that's formatted for testimonials or things like that, it like matches almost exactly the experience out of Elementor in that regard. So yeah, and I've played with it and used it. I built a couple of pages where I was like, okay, so I want to do this, this, and this. Now, where I get confused in the new editor is, I think, something that you just did. That's playing with the width of like the backgrounds and the colors, and because like I would love, like, so where it says positive growth, instead of being narrow and centered, I'd love it to be full width for the shading, and then narrow and centered for the text, to see what that would look like. You know, but in some cases you need Astra Pro to play with a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, you mean like this yellow?
Oh, not Astra Pro, because we're not in Astra anymore. We're in Skypilot.
Yeah, you mean like the background yellow here going full width?
Yeah, so if that yellow went full width and made like a whole site, ribbon, like a hero image, it's almost like you have to change it to a hero image or something to get it to do it.
Right. I wonder, where's the front page? I think there was a front page for this archive blank index.
Index, I thought, was the front page.
Oh, it looks like that's the blog. I saw a front page template at one point, but we can always make a custom one. Front page, here we go. So this is my front page. Doesn't really look like this. So what does the front page need to have in it? It needs my content. Yeah, so front page is going to have a header, and it's going to have my post content. What's my content? Where's the content? Post title, post content. Show me the navigator. There we go. So we got the post content, the header footer, save. So that should look exactly the same. Oh, it doesn't have the title. I removed the title. But now we have the full width, because my post content's here. Blocks use content width. So what if I constrain this? So we're ignoring content width. This should make it small again. Inner blocks use content width. So is this going to be just the text, and the background is going to stay large? So what's going on here?
What is going on?
It seems like it's just ignoring my layouts here. I wonder if that has something to do with what I'm doing over here.
That sounds a lot like something I would say, but in a nicer way.
Oh, that it's just ignoring what I'm doing?
It looks like it's just ignoring my my inputs here.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's turn that off. Save. So maybe this is going to do it. There we go. So I can't completely explain what I just did, but this seems like we got it to work. What I did, I don't know why it worked, but we set up a template, and that seemed to allow this to go full width, this yellow color to go full width. By having this template without anything constraining it, I'm assuming, is what let it go full width for us. And then that's our template controlling the front page, and then we can now come into my pattern that I imported here. It's basically a group with a bunch of columns, as a little pre-formatted stuff. And of course, this is the block editor, so you could have created this from scratch, but the patterns are kind of a nice jumping off point. And I think those patterns in Elementor, or sections, save templates, they call them, aren't too useful to me. because when I'm using Elementor, I'm using Elementor because a client sent me some picture and they want their website to look exactly like that picture. So we're already going to be customizing from scratch, so I don't need some out of the box layout. But in WordPress, in this WordPress editor, building something like this from scratch seems very difficult. So I think that the patterns are really useful. Until at least,
Yeah.
I'm more familiar with this.
Well, and understanding that there's options to move things around and stuff too,
Right. I mean, this isn't looking too bad. I wonder, let me see what happens if I trash this thing. How do I throw a template away? Front page. There's my front page template. I want to edit this. Is it not going to let me? There we go. So here's where I can modify my templates. Delete that thing. So now if I come back over here, it should look a little different. Back to the way it was. Yep. Social icons, got the GitHub icon. It's sort of an interesting concept when we learn a tool like WordPress so well. It's hard for me to sit down and just do something with it. I have to have like a specific goal in order to make it come together in my mind, because we could literally do anything on this homepage, even almost with the block editor. So I don't know what kind of layout to create. I guess that's where design expertise comes in, where you start to get an intuitive feeling for what it should look like or what it could look like. Because I could do anything. I could make it half and half, make one half purple and the other half go part way down the page and be red. But like, I'm just throwing out random ideas. I'm not really coming up with a good, well-designed solution. So there's got to be some sort of basis to work off of.
Yeah, some people just have a gift for it, man. I'm honest with people. I tell them up front, I'm not a very visual person. I can look at something and say I know what looks good or I know what works, but I don't necessarily have the creative brain to make it from scratch. I hope that makes sense the way I said that.
I know what you mean,
when I work with clients, I'll generally say something like, hey, do you have a pre-existing color palette? Do you have a logo that's been professionally made? Do you have, graphics and digital assets that I can use to help build your site? And if they have all that stuff, oh man, I can make them a great deal on making them a cool package. But if they're like, I got a really cool idea and nothing to represent it, I know I'm looking at an uphill battle.
Yeah. And for those, I wonder if you've ever worked with people who are like, they're the people who come up with ideas like that seem to be somewhat of abstract thinkers. And so there's a certain...
see you, Mrs. C. Mrs. C's leaving.
Sounds great. Teach some vocal lessons. But there's like a genre of like virtual assistant. It's sort of an assistant style role where they kind of take the abstract thoughts and can turn them into concrete ideas. If that makes sense at all. Like, it's basically selling the abstract thinker on the idea of something concrete that would fit their vision.
When I worked at Suzuki, I hired a lady that, and this was the most uncanny thing ever that I ever worked with, Will. She was brilliant. Her name was Michelle. Michelle was phenomenal. And I would describe something to her with the spoken word, and she would make it become real. Right? And so, like, I wanted to make a course for service writers and service managers, and she knew nothing about motorcycles. Like, I hired her because she was like a genius with graphics and stuff, but she didn't know anything about motorcycles or the business or nothing. So I took her to a motorcycle dealership. I introduced her to the staff. I let her hang around for an afternoon. And then I went back to the office with her and I told her what I wanted the course to be centered on. And 2 weeks later, she had this unbelievable articulate presentation with all this kind of like imagery that was brought in from all kinds of places and symbolism and all this weird stuff. And I was like, I don't know how you did that. But so let's take away, like, she was also a little bit strange. So she had like a picture of a tiger and an apple tree and things like that in there too. And I was like, okay, motorcycle dealers don't care about tigers and apple trees, but the rest of that can stay. And she was brilliant. I don't know how she was able to do that. I could tell her anything and she would just visually make it happen. She was like a genius. Then there's other people that say, like you ask them something, they go, well, I can't really explain it to you, but I'll know it when I see it.
Yeah.
And those are the people that don't want to work with me because I'll have nothing to show them.
Yeah. And you just install a sample site and it's like, is this it? And they're like, no.
They're like, no, that's not it. Hold on. How about this one? Is this it?
Yeah. It's like, but based on the information you gave me, this is a fair guess.
Yeah, we are running out of templates, folks. You're gonna have to pick one soon. How about this one?
Yeah.
Oh, that's probably not as funny to our listeners as it is to us.
Yeah.
Chris might be listening outside of this going, oh my goodness, these guys are off the rails. I'm going to have to pull these guys in a little bit.
I did have an idea for a website, though. This website is actually, we're going to be pretty solid. I'm going to airdrop a bunch of photos of my cat to my computer, and then we're going to make a membership website surrounding these photos. That sounds a little bit better in my head, but I think I have a vision for this, so we'll make it happen.
Crazycat.net? I mean, what are we doing here?
Yeah, it's my mom takes really good photos of my cats, and so I'm going to display them on a website. I've taken a few good photos, but she's much better. So let's airdrop these to my computer. Hopefully they will not end up in random assortments, and they will come to just my downloads folder in order. So, Will's MacBook Pro. There it goes. Nice. A few of them seem like they're out of order, but that's all right. I have enough. So let me get these things uploaded to my media library. And I wonder if I should create this in a different environment.
Are you doing crazy cat pictures in the new SkyPilot?
Yeah. So I'm building a membership website around these digital assets. And these digital assets are just pictures of my cat. But you could use PDF downloads, anything you wanted, really. Clicking into things. Not what I'm trying to click on. There we go. I'm not going to optimize these images because we need the full HD quality.
Full HD quality.
No sacrifices. But we're going to work on Will's design skills here. As long as we don't have LifterLMS pre-sales questions coming in, we'll use digital cat assets to work on this. Picture. There we go. So now that I've got my digital assets imported to my media library, I realize I have to change the format of two of these. But this is the process of just making this stuff work. Is like I just tried to upload a couple of images that don't work because WordPress doesn't support the HEIC image format from iPhone. So we'll just take a couple screenshots instead. But we run into all kinds of road bumps in the process. So maybe we'll run into some more road bumps right now. Why aren't these uploading? This isn't supported. This isn't supported. Try to upload this. That might be a large image. How big are these? 138 kilobytes. How are the photos my mom takes on her Android phone already optimized?
They might get optimized through the Google Photos app. Because I have a choice on file size when I put stuff in my Google Photos.
Man, the world is getting too fast for me.
That's I was just looking at my Google's Photos pictures because I take amazing pictures of people's dogs with my Pixel phone.
Yeah, this screenshot I'm uploading is probably like 4 megabytes. It's taking a long time to load, but let's start to design this site. I'll replace this image with some stuff from my media library.
See, if you look at the tab on my shared screen at the bottom, Will, that's like one of the coolest pictures that I got, where the dog is completely crisp and clear, like every piece of fur on his face, you can see it, and then the whole background's completely blurred out, but it doesn't look like a cartoon.
Yeah, do you want to like add that to stream?
Well, no, I don't want to interrupt your stream. You're streaming.
Okay, cool.
I was just talking about picture quality. People listening to us don't care about what's on my camera. Especially, I don't know, WordPress people seem like more like cat people than dog people.
There's a genre, though. I know a lot of people love coming to this call with dog people and things. But yeah, even just having interesting image assets makes the site so much cleaner. Positive growth.
Yeah, dude. That looks good.
Yeah, thank you. Let's see what we can do here. Positive growth, what should I call this? Do this. Like once you have a vision for kind of what you're trying to design, stuff becomes a little bit easier. So hopefully we'll be able to make something cool here in the next like 10 minutes. Let's add that front page template back. Over here, we're going to remove this group. I don't want it. All I want is a content. Post content. We're going to save that. Then we'll reload over here. It's going to go full width again. That's not exactly what I wanted. So how do I make it not do that? I know how to make it not do that. We put it in a group. Kim taught me this. There we go. So then we can modify my group's width. Maybe 1,000. Maybe 1,200. 1,200 looks good. There we go. Nope, it doesn't look good. 1,400. No, that's too much. Pixels might be the wrong way to do this, but we can change it later. It's going to be 1,250. So we've got that. Ecosystem is a word I don't need there. Browser problems. See, there's me opening multiple tabs and clicking update.
Sometimes you just got to go for it.
Yeah. It's probably a better set of photos. There we go. Look for the cuteness. What do I want to put over here? Yeah, I'll leave that for now. Still put some text on there later. Then let's set up a membership. Or maybe a course catalog. And this is where the process of creating this content is aided by templates, like what we're talking about in Canva. I don't really want to open up the LifterLMS Canva and start like showing all those assets we're working on, but Canva is a super nice tool. I use Photoshop for like modifying photos and making weird jokes, but Canva is just a fast way to get nice assets produced. For me, like Photoshop, I can do anything and it looks great, but it just takes way too long when trying to kind of make a minimum viable product. So if I was coming over here for my course catalog to produce some featured images, I would go to Canva for that.
I think Canva's pretty amazing. I use, there's like preset preset templates in there. And a lot of what I use is the YouTube thumbnail template.
Okay, yeah, like the pre-made, yeah.
Yeah, because they have so many different backgrounds and styles in that section. And so you can, obviously you can make a thumbnail in there and use it for any purpose, right? So I make a lot of YouTube content, so I make my thumbnails for that. But then if I use that same template as a consistent way to do my featured images and stuff, it just seems to work well for me. I like the options that come with that template in that platform.
Yeah.
Because the Mañana No Mas studios do not have a design genius like Kim on staff full time to make cool template themes.
Right. Yeah, and Kim works a lot with Paid Memberships Pro, her other company that she owns. And so, yeah, she's not even working on Skypilot like full time. If she was working on it full time, it would be, like super cool, super fast and available. But even with the limited resources she has for time, it's looking like, we have like one of the top industry themes, hopefully. In my opinion, at least, as far as design, and we're, just kind of part-time on it, which is incredible to see. And then we also have some other developers working on the theme as well, just fixing some bugs, moving some stuff around, make it look good, look great.
Fixing some bugs, moving some things around.
Awesome. Well, we could probably wrap it up for this pre-sales call. We'll take 10-minute break and hop into office hours. But for anyone seeing this video live or in a replay, leave any questions in the comments below, and we'll be live next week, 11. I always get my times wrong. 2 p.m. my time, 11 a.m. Pacific time, for 2 hours next Thursday. Mark your calendars. We hope to see you on. This is Will and Kurt from Lifter. We'll see you next week.